All right, welcome. Today we're talking about the new HBO series, Welcome to Derry, Season 1, Episode 1, Pilot Episode. It's January 4th, 1962, and the episode starts in a movie theater. A young boy named Mattie Clements is watching The Music Man. He's sucking on a pacifier and has a black eye, so we can only assume he's got a pretty rough home life. The usher catches him without a ticket, which appears to happen often, and chases him out of the theater. He hides behind a Geronimo cardboard cutout as the usher asks Hank and his daughter Ronnie, who both work there, if they saw the boy run through. She can see Mattie hiding as she says yes, but points him in the wrong direction. The usher spots Mattie leaving and chases him out, threatening to call the police next time. Mattie walks along a dark, snowy road attempting to hitchhike, which seems absolutely crazy, but you gotta remember this is the 60s. He walks past a Welcome to Derry sign and appears to be leaving the city. A car finally stops to help him, and they seem normal enough. They offer him a ride since he is a child walking alone in the snow at night. However, they ask him where home is so they can take him there, and when his response is anywhere but Derry, I feel like that's a little bit of a red flag if you ask me. He hops in the backseat with their two kids, a teenage girl and her younger brother. We hear on the radio that nuke testing is resulting in genetic mutations, and the daughter asks her dad to change it because it gives her the willies. Her brother suddenly blurts out, "Willies," and starts to spell it as the mother explains he's going through a spelling phase. She starts asking him to spell random words while the daughter picks up a Tupperware labeled liver, opens it up, sticks her fingers in it, and then smells them before sticking them in Mattie's face. Shit's starting to get weird, and Mattie's noticing. Suddenly he looks up and sees them approaching the same Welcome to Derry sign they were driving away from when they picked him up. He leans forward and asks where they're going. They ignore him as the mother asks the son to start spelling much creepier words like necrosis and kidnapping, while Mattie is begging them to pull over and still gets ignored. He screams, "Let me out," and the entire family starts spelling it out, O-U-T. O-U-T in unison. That's when the mother is revealed to be pregnant and begins giving birth as the family chants O-U-T, O-U-T, louder and louder. It's terrifying. Mattie looks over at the boy and he's got the crazy Pennywise eyes. Once the birth is complete, a deformed two-headed bat baby starts flying around the car, terrorizing Mattie as the rest of the family admires it, cheering and laughing, and it's still attached to the umbilical cord. Completely overwhelmed, Mattie puts the pacifier in his mouth, shuts his eyes and covers his ears and tries to pretend like nothing's happening. All three kids in the back... It's called the bat baby a kid. All three kids in the back stare at him, super creepy, before Bat Baby slaps the pacifier out of his mouth and into a waterway that runs beneath the city. Dun dun dun. Fast forward 4 months later to April 1962. We see a kid who's obsessed with jets and watches them as they fly over Derry and into the Air Force Base. He's up in the Derry Standpipe, which is a famous landmark in the city. At the Derry Air Force Base, a strategic air command base, we meet Korean War veterans Captain Paulie Russo and Major Leroy Hanlon as they are briefed on their duties. Hanlon might sound familiar because he's the grandfather of OG Loser Club member Mike Hanlon. As they tour the base, they pass a closed-off, heavily guarded hangar, and they are told that building is special projects. At Derry High School, we are introduced to Lily Bainbridge as she walks through the halls anxiously, being stared at by the other students. She opens her locker to a booby-trapped jar of pickles falling out and breaking on the floor at her feet. Everyone in the hallway laughs as her friend Marge attempts to cheer her up. Here we officially meet Phil Malkin, the kid obsessed with jets, as he walks the halls with his friend Teddy Uris, and we discover he likes keeping track of the jets coming and going from the Air Force Base because he thinks there could be aliens there they're experimenting on. Special projects, maybe? Back at the Air Force Base, Leroy and Polly are introduced to their squadron, all of them who salute except Masters, who appears to be a racist and doesn't respect or want to salute a black superior. Any coincidence a racist guy is named Masters? Probably. Leroy confronts him as General Shaw shows up and asks him if he has a problem, to which he quickly changes tunes. Also, spoiler alert, but not really. According to the show's Wikipedia page, this guy is Dick Halloran. The Dick Halloran. From The Shining and Dr. Sleep, the telepathic head chef over the Overlook Hotel. Same guy. It's going to be so dope to see how they work his powers into the storyline. Speaking of which, I know I can't be the only one that saw the Shawshank prison bus in the trailer, right? Later that night, Phil watches like a little creep as his neighbor undresses, asking important questions like why are bras pointed if boobs aren't, while Teddy tries to do homework. It's been 4 months to the day since Mattie disappeared, and Teddy is convinced he's still out there because a body was never found. Phil's convinced he's dead. At home, Lily is in the bathroom drawing a bath when she looks down at her bracelet with a turtle pendant, and through a flashback remembers when Mattie gave it to her 4 days before he disappeared. Here we also find out what happened to her dad. He worked at a pickle jarring plant, and one night when her and her mom went to pick him up, Lily left a toy inside, so her dad had to go back in and get it. While he was inside, another person's station got jammed. He tried to fix it, but there was a mix-up turning off the power, and he ended up getting crushed. She blames herself for it, and now the pickle prank from earlier makes a little more sense and reminds us how fucking cruel kids can be. Fireworks go off, Mattie says Happy New Year, and they wash together. This is also when he misreads the vibes and goes in for a kiss, but gets hardcore friend-zoned. Overcome with embarrassment, he says he needs to go home before his dad catches him out. Back in the bathroom, Lily's mom opens the door, telling her they're going to see her dad at the cemetery tomorrow. Lily doesn't want to go, and we find out she hasn't gone once since he passed away a year ago. Her mom leaves, and suddenly Lily hears a voice coming from the bathroom's drain. It's Mattie's voice, and he's singing. He's singing You Got Trouble from the musical The Music Man, the same movie Mattie was watching in the beginning. She looks down at the drain, asking if he can hear her.
You can hear me. Just come home, alright? Just please come home.
To which he replies in a deeper voice,
He won't let me!
as he sticks his bloody fingers out of the drain and pokes around. At school the next day, Lily attempts to tell Marge what happened, but Marge is embarrassed and doesn't want the popular kids to hear, so she takes Lily to the bathroom to talk, which is then rudely interrupted by a girl just ripping ass in the background.
It wasn't me.
After school, Lily waits for Phil and Teddy at the standpipe to tell them about what happened, but Phil doesn't believe her. She's gained the nickname Loony Lily ever since her dad died because she spent some time at Juniper Hill Mental Hospital, and she isn't exactly helping her case with this story. But Teddy reminds him he's the one who believes in all kinds of crazy alien theories, so maybe he shouldn't be so quick to dismiss this, although it does seem very unlikely. Back at Strategic Air Command, Leroy meets with General Shaw. He's told Masters has been put on toilet duty all week, along with having a citation added to his permanent flight record for his racist actions. Leroy was a hero as a pilot in the Korean War, but doesn't like to talk about it much because he feels like he didn't finish the job. Shaw tells him that's exactly why he's here, to fly their new B-52s, if needed, directly into the enemy and finish what he started. Later that night, Teddy has Shabbat dinner with his family and asks his dad if he thinks it's possible for someone to kidnap a kid and hold him underground, torturing him in a sewer for days at a time. Fucking curveball. Now let's remember this is the early 1960s, so it's safe to say, based on recent history, that a Jewish family might know a little something about how evil humans can be. He explains that Teddy's grandparents escaped from the Buchenwald concentration camp, where the rest of their family was murdered, and the skin of the Jewish prisoners was used to make lampshades. He then scolds him for reading comics instead of studying. After dinner, he's rebelliously reading comics in bed when his lamp suddenly starts shutting itself off. He turns it back on only to see that the shade is turned into skinned faces sewn together just like his dad was telling him about. He panics, knocks the lamp over, and crawls under his desk to hide. But the lamp turns back on and fucking rolls itself directly at him. The face is screaming, and then poof, it's gone. Just like that. His older brother opens the door to check on him, and everything's back to normal. The next day, after Teddy tells Phil and Lily what happened to him the night before, they now believe Lily. They decide they can't tell anybody though, because they sound crazy and it'll get them all sent to Juniper Hill. They head to the library with Phil's annoying younger sister Susie that he's babysitting to look deeper into Mattie's disappearance. They discover news articles saying that a motorist saw a kid trying to hitchhike the same night he disappeared. He originally was thought to be a runaway, but then after he didn't show up anywhere, they classified it as a murder. His dad was originally a suspect, but then there was no evidence, and he was last seen by a 12-year-old girl whose dad worked at a movie theater. Her name wasn't mentioned, but they know exactly who it is. Veronica, Ronnie, Grogan. The four of them head to Ronnie's house to ask if she knows anything, but she tells them to leave. She's pissed. Her family was harassed nonstop by the police, and they tried to pin Mattie's disappearance on her dad. As they walk away, Phil mentions hearing songs in the sewers, which stops Ronnie in her tracks. She turns around and says she's heard voices as well, and asks what song he was singing. Back at the Air Force Base, Leroy is attacked in his sleep by 3 masked men with American accents, demanding the specifications of the B-52 he's supposed to fly. He refuses. He said it's confidential and fights back. Polly hears the commotion from the other room and busts in to help fight off the intruders, and they leave. Ronnie takes the other kids to the movie theater, telling them Mattie was singing the song from The Music Man. She goes upstairs to turn the movie on while the rest of them go into the theater. This is where the reality of what's really going on hits them, and they all start to get emotional, talking about how they weren't there for him when he needed them most. The movie starts and Lily instantly recognizes the lyrics from her bathroom drain. They continue to watch, and suddenly Mattie appears on screen holding a wrapped up baby. Uh-oh. and standing in front of the family that abducted him. They scream at the screen and realize that Mattie can hear them. Everyone else in the movie is singing while he just stands still, staring back at them. They scream his name louder and louder, and he starts to walk towards them as the rest of the screen fades to black. They yell at him to keep walking forward so they can get him out, when he suddenly stops and angrily says,
"No, you're welcome. You're the reason I'm in here."
Their faces drop as he blames them and then releases the baby in his arms, which we all knew was going to be the crazy bat baby, and it flies out of the screen into the movie theater. It quickly grows larger and charges at the kids. Now this is where shit really hits the fan, and I had my balls blown completely off. The bat baby grabs Teddy, pulls him into the air, and rips his entire body in half. Are you kidding me? Literally tore him in half at the waist. Teddy's just fucking gone. Then the bat baby grabs Phil and kills him while Lily takes Susie's hand and tries to pull her to safety. The now bigger bat baby jumps down and bites Susie's arm. Ronnie escapes the projector room after being locked in and runs down to the theater to discover Lily covered in blood and says they're all gone. They run out of the theater and lock the door. Ronnie grabs Lily, asking her what she meant by they're all gone, as they both look down and see Lily holding Susie's severed fucking hand. Holy shit, they really killed all those goddamn kids in the first episode. Call me crazy, but I love that shit. Not necessarily the children dying, but the fact that nobody saw it coming. And yeah, I guess a little bit of the child death, but that's mostly just because of the shock factor. Like, the fuck, that shit's crazy. They spent the entire episode introducing us to these kids just to kill them off. Brutally. Poor Teddy got ripped in half. It takes some serious balls to pull that off. I'm all the way in on this show. HBO always delivers on projects like this, and so far they're killing it. Now I know there's all sorts of little clues and Easter eggs throughout this episode. I haven't read the books. I watched it twice though. Here's some stuff that stood out to me that I saw. All 3 times we encounter its appearance and attack is like based off what was just happening in the scene. For example, the car ride in the beginning, we hear on the radio about mutants and birth defects, only for a mutated baby to be born right after. In Teddy's room, he's attacked by a lampshade right after his dad told him about people being sewn into lampshades. Or at the very end, when Mattie's on screen, he blames them for what happened to him, when literally a minute earlier, they were just blaming themselves. Anyways, let me know what you think about the first episode in the comments. What did I miss? What did I get wrong? What did I get right? What were your favorite parts? And I'll see you for episode 2. Thanks for watching.